So, just a little bit about how we're starting here, who you're talking to. My name is Amol Wishampine. I am the Digital Creative Director at Stream Companies. You can email me at amol@streamcompanies.com if you have any questions. And I highly encourage you to check out our Twitter handle at twitter.com/streamcompanies or join our Facebook and community around facebook.com/streamco. Additionally, you can also check out the website at streamcompanies.com. So, if any of you are on Twitter or like to listen in on what's happening on the online part of the conversation, our hashtag that we're going to use today is hashtag Streaminar. You can also tweet directly at Stream Companies, or you can also tweet directly at my personal Twitter handle at AMOLBIGW. So let's start with a pretty basic question. What is reputation management? I think there's probably a lot of definitions floating around, and everyone has maybe a slightly different perspective on it. I think the common perception in the space is that it's probably three things, and it's seeing and tracking and controlling what people are saying about you online. And so the question is that really what reputation management is? So I think where we stream, goes a little bit above and beyond is we think it's not just that. I think that's a good place to maybe get your feet wet and understand, what's out there, but that's not really a good strategy or process or way to kind of think about it. So the way we feel is that, reputation management, it's more than the reviews you see on Yelp or cars.com or through Google and other online sources. It's more than just what you're seeing through online word of mouth, through social media and other kinds of sources. It's really, I think, a three-step process, and this is how we do it at Stream, and this is how we see great success. So the first part is just managing information, and some of that is a little bit of housekeeping and citation building and building your platform and owning your platform and seeing where your brand is mentioned online and where people are leaving reviews. And those are digital properties and embassies that you really want to own and be able to review and manage and control. And number two is building your digital presence. Once you kind of have your information managed and your platforms all together, you want to see how you can build your digital presence and create content and manage reviews, and then actually start getting positive reviews out of it. You don't want to just look at reputation management as a liability, as where people are saying negative things, and you just need to make sure that they don't say negative things. If we do it correctly, we can actually make it a center of positive reviews and positive word of mouth, and you're going to actually see that that's going to help build your business in big ways that even other traditional and digital marketing techniques can't. And number three is there's a very overarching branding and brand strengthening kind of aspect here, and being memorable in the way that we deal with customers, customer experience, and the way we make our customers happy, and the way that we deliver our products or services. It's a huge part of what we do, no matter what kind of company you are, and no matter what kind of industry you're in. That's the kind of thing that sticks from one person to another. It's the kind of thing that's talked about, around the dinner table on a Saturday night. So those are the things that, if we understand what is our customer experience, how happy are our customers with our services, how can we leverage that to really build more business? So, I mean, I think it covers a little bit of, why should you care? I think on an abstract level, on a theoretical level, I think that makes sense. But there's a lot of specific reasons, if you really drill down into it. And the number one reason, it always comes back down to this, but the number one reason is Google. And Google still masters the online world, and no matter what happens with Bing from Microsoft and other kind of giants, Google is still the gateway where people still use to research local products and services. And just a little bit of a statistic here is that 97% of online consumers still use the webs for researching local products. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't platforms like Yelp specifically or Cars.com, places that are geared towards reviews specifically. But often what we're seeing is that even there, when people are researching the reviews, they're going through Google first. So I think what companies like Yelp do is make sure that they rank high on Google. But again, the entryway is still right on this search engine right here. So again, you'll see this come into play. You'll see this come into play in everything really. Stream does as a marketing agency, but Google, we make sure we kind of follow the rules and help gain a good ranking within our search engine results. So again, it's the gateway to the website. Just quick statistics: it's 34,000 searches every second worldwide, and it seems insane and huge, but 66% of all searches happen on Google. So there's a lot of other platforms such as YouTube and everything else, but again, local product service, it's mainly on Google. So the Google search results page has evolved quite a bit, and it changes. And even this may not be the most updated, as they're kind of rolling out updates all the time. But just I think the fundamentals still exist. We have paid search listings, where you actually pay per click, and then organic listings, which is part of SEO and seeing how we can place organically within those search results. And then there's Google Places, which has really helped revolutionize the way that reputation management is looked at within the search engine. And again, that's because what Google has started to do is understand how valuable these peer-to-peer reviews are and actually include them right in the search results page. And so you can see here, someone searches for a Nissan dealer, it shows up right there, and you can see some dealerships have 35 Google reviews, some have 10, some have 6. And having that 4 or 5 star rating on your review page versus having a 2-star rating can make a really big difference. So, living in Google's world, again, I think they kind of rule us all to a certain extent, but they reward companies that really play by the rules. And so what that means is, even as you saw in that screenshot, the more reviews, the better rankings, and the better rankings means the more visits online. The more visits online means more calls, and more calls, when done correctly, also means more sales. So while it goes through a bit of a process and a funnel, understanding reviews and reputation management, even looking specifically at this kind of a process flow, will ultimately lead into more sales and more revenue and more profit at the end of the day. Another kind of interesting fact is Google kind of now owns the zero moment of truth. That's kind of like their philosophy, and they want to make sure that if you want to get any kind of information, the first thing you have to do is go to Google. And I think we'd probably all agree, and maybe not admit, but probably ultimately agree that they've probably done a good job of this. So again, understanding, knowing that, hey, it doesn't matter what we're selling, whether it's a product or service, we know that our customers in some shape or form are going to want to go to Google to learn about it first. So, just putting our minds in the heads of our customers and our potential prospects, what do they go through? So if they're looking for a car, what's kind of going through their mind? If they're searching again for something like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Philly, and they want to see, okay, what are maybe some dealers around here? The first thing that they're thinking is, okay, let's see what dealers are around here, and they're served up right away. Again, some places, and in those places there are Google reviews. There's 32 Google reviews in the first one. The next one's 81. I think I can guarantee you that a majority of users who do a similar search are going to click on the one with 81 reviews and the one that has a much higher rating. So again, if you are the family Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge in this case, and you're competing against someone who has a much higher Google Places page and higher reviews and rating, think about it from the mind of the customer. He or she's going to be like, what's going on? I don't want to go there. I don't know what they're about. I don't really know that much about them, but if there's enough negative, I don't even want to go there. So again, that's opportunity for business that's lost. So really important about getting reviews is that, if you have a bad experience, you're going to tell 10 people. I mean, you are angry, you're pissed off, but if you have a positive experience, you're only going to tell 2 people. So what does that mean for us in being in the reputation management business, or understanding that it's a big part of our business? It means we have to ask for reviews. So you can do it in a couple of different ways. You can get pretty creative about it. You can do it whether if you're an online business, you can ask for it through email. For example, sometimes in signatures, we ask our clients to say, hey, just above your name and role and title, just put in a little link to our review site where people can actually review it. Otherwise, people aren't going to know or spend the time to do it unless they're really pissed off. Another way that we can do it is using QR codes or some interesting way that seems like it's almost like a fun experience to be able to actually go to the page and write a review. So I'm just going to take a pause for a second here and make sure that everything's working for everyone. And if there's any questions or urgent, okay, great. So I just want to make sure I'm up and running here. Great. So, 3 or 4 step process here and how we kind of build a reputation. And I covered it a little bit, but just another reminder, we have to we have to optimize our presence, again, all the digital properties, whether it's Google Plus, Yelp, DealerRater, Edmunds, Cars, there's a lot more review sites. There's some of the big ones, but we want to make sure that we look at every review site and we own that and we're able to manage that. And the other 2 parts are, we want to respond to the positive reviews and say, hey, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to write this review, for giving us your business. I think good businesses always earn their businesses and don't take it for granted. So again, responding to positive reviews makes a big difference. And of course, responding to negative reviews. There's a couple different ways to do this, and I think there's a couple wrong ways and a couple right ways. But generally speaking, we should always try to respond to negative reviews and say, hey, look, we're sorry. We really believe in customer service. Please contact us and so forth, so that our customers, even if they've had a negative experience, they understand that we value them and we really believe they are the reason why we're going to be successful. The other part of that is, again, just owning your platform and understanding that there may be inappropriate reviews and people who we know are very negative and hatred, and maybe they're not legitimate reviews or legitimate complaints, and so those ones just need to be removed. So another part here is about business listing and verification. Again, across all your major sites: Facebook, Bing, Google, Yahoo. Why does it matter? Again, it's about our friend Google here. So being able to rank higher in search engines, and a big part of SEO is managing your citations and making sure that you have consistent information, address, phone numbers, about information in all of those properties, so that again we're ranking first when people search for us or products and services that we sell. So that kind of covers a little bit about, on a high level, what is reputation management? Why is it important? How is it going to affect my business? Is it going to affect it? Now I want to cover a little bit about some mistakes, because it may seem like a no-brainer. Hey, this is easy. All I have to do is go own my pages. It's a bit more time intensive, and it does take a lot of coordinating with different players, but there's also a lot of easy ways to slip up and do it incorrectly. And so I just wanted to share some of the ways, some of the things that we've learned, and some of the things that we always try to educate the world of reputation management on. So number 1 is ignoring comments and reviews. It's kind of like you don't want to ignore something, or your first tendency is going to you want to ignore something that's not positive, it's negative. You don't want to deal with it. Oh man, I'll deal with that tomorrow. I don't want to do it. But ignoring something that's negative can actually make it snowball into something much bigger. So absolutely do not want to ignore comments and reviews. Especially this comes into play because of the world of social media. And most who do use social media, they expect a very quick response. So just pulled out of this graph here, 60% of people expect businesses to respond to social media posts immediately. So again, we have to remember how we can use technology and process to know when people are mentioning our business, and making sure that we have a strategy and a plan in place, so it doesn't take us 2 or 3 days, for us to scramble and figure out, hey, this guy complained. What do we say to him? If we plan and have that response strategy up front, then when it comes time to it and we're executing, then we can respond to people as soon as possible. The other kind of thing we see a lot is responding to negative reviews with anger. It happens because especially if you're passionate about your business, it makes sense. First of all, it's true, and not all negative reviews are valid. And so the first thing you want to do is get defensive and say, why this person's crazy. We did everything, and you almost want to argue with them. It's very natural But I think what ends up happening is that it never becomes a win-win situation. You're never going to be able to really win that argument with them, especially when it's not face to face and it's online. You're probably just kind of infuriate them further. So, the right steps there are reinitiating trust with the customer and stating, what steps we're going to take to correct the problem. So being very specific in how we're going to handle it, and not just saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but actually saying, "Hey, we're sorry, and this is what we're going to do." Now, again, being able to state those steps means that you have to have had a plan and a strategy in place before that kind of happens. So another big one, which I think is kind of happening less and less, but it is probably really, really big, maybe a year or two ago, was creating fake reviews. So, guys, please do not create fake reviews for your site or your competition or your competitors. Again, it is very natural in terms of seeing it as an easy thing to do and say, hey, let's throw some either fake reviews that are bad onto our competitor, or hey, some fake good reviews for us because we've had a lot of negative reviews on there, and maybe this is kind of like a band-aid to make it look better. It might seem like it's a good idea at first, but one, it actually, when you do it too much, I think people can actually really tell that it's a fake review. And two, you'll see that it comes off as not very genuine in most cases. So what you want to do is focus on building up your positive reviews and reputation. That's really going to carry you in the long run. And if you're on the receiving end of it and you suspect fake reviews on your site, then you can always flag them. And that's a big part of review sites. So again, whether you're Yelp or Google Plus, and these other review sites, your success is based on how legitimate your reviews are. So their vested interest is there in terms of helping you take away fake reviews. So if you flag it, that's going to be number one on their radar to help you remove it. So here's kind of like the big mistake. I think I think maybe ties together some of these things, and it's making sure that you don't ignore the power of the people. I think it's probably always been the case, for the last 40, 50 years and maybe even longer, but especially now within digital channels, it is very, very easy for people to mobilize and come together through a community because everything's virtual. The world is flat. So we don't want to think that something may not be a problem for us and just kind of ignore it, because it will snowball. And when people decide against a common cause, it really becomes a really big deal. So just a quick case study here around a company called ClearGear. So Miss Jen Palmer ordered a package from a business called ClearGear a few years ago, but she never received the package. So most people really annoyed, especially I don't know how expensive it was, but chances are that it was pretty expensive. And when she couldn't get in touch with them, she said, "Fine, I want to write a negative review because, hey, maybe I'm pissed off." Probably was, and also because I want peers and other customers to know that, hey, don't order from these guys. They did a really bad job. They didn't even deliver my product, and they didn't even care when I complained about it. So I think this is a very natural, very normal reaction from an unsatisfied customer. So really interesting, nothing ever happened to her. But 3 years later, the company ClearGear got in touch with her via a lawyer and said that she had to either remove the negative review or suffer a $3,500 fine, which is crazy. And the reason it's the way they did this is when she decided to sign the form and say, hey, I want to order this product, and it's kind of that terms and agreements form, and huge long form that everyone signs and says, okay, I accept, and yes, I understand. No one really actually reads all the details. In that form, they said that your acceptance of this sales contract prohibits you from taking any action that negatively impacts ClearGear or its reputation, its products, etc. And so basically that means by her having said yes to this statement and buying that product, she agreed that I'm never going to write a bad review about it. And this company went above and beyond to then issue her a legal notice and say, remove the negative review or suffer a $3,500 fine. So this was kind of their reputation management plan. Number one, they were going to trick customers with the typical agree to terms and conditions box that we've probably all signed via iTunes or one of those other platforms. And number two is that they were going to go after negative reviews with these legal notices. So, based on everything that we're talking about, I'm sure you guys can kind of guess what happened. Clear Gear, they went into social media lockdown. The world of social media and customers, they kind of mobilized around Clear Gear and just really destroyed it. So again, that's why I talk about power of the people. If you think that you can kind of get around a mass of people being very negative, it's not going to happen. So again, having a process and a plan in place and understanding how to address negative reviews and empower positive ones helps us stay away from heading down a path like this one. So, again, reputation management is something that anyone can do when partnered with the right people or having the right people internally, resources allocated towards it. We have our own, take on it from a philosophy standpoint, with the way I kind of described in this presentation, as well as specifically in the packages that we offer. Our three things, again, is managing, monitoring, and building. And we take that philosophy and service and we pair it with the reputation management dashboard. And together, those two things, I think we feel and we know is it's everything you need to succeed online. So, your reputation management dashboard, it's very cool. We give you a login password. It's a proprietary tool that we have, and you can actually go in and you can see all of your visibility. You can see reviews. You can see how much we've kind of collected and managed information and made sure that our citations across Google and Yelp and everything is collected and uniform and standard. There's all kinds of neat little charts and check marks and colors that give you this information very quickly, and it helps us collectively as an agency and as a client, as a team, to understand how we're making progress and moving forward. Again, it's looking at what kind of ratings we have and for letting us do the heavy lifting of monitoring that and maintaining that, and then also being accountable and transparent, with our partners and our clients to say, hey, this is how we've progressed forward. This is how we've managed and built our reputation. Other things that I think are really interesting in the space are actually social listening and real-time lead opportunities. So, for example, people saying, I want this product or that product, and being able to, tweet on your behalf and say, hey, come in, let us know how we can help. How can we give you this product? How can we give you this service? And starting that conversation online. As the world becomes more and more mobile and more social and more local, being very proactive in listening and responding is going to help generate a lot of leads. So that's kind of a quick and short webinar on reputation management and what it is and our process and philosophy around it and some of the common mistakes that we see and things that you can avoid. So if there's any questions, please feel free to tweet at us at Stream Companies or join our Facebook page. You can also email amol@streamcompanies.com and Twitter, again, my Twitter handle is AMOLBIGW, and we will have a replay, so if this is something that you want to watch again or forward to a friend, we'll have a form for that where you can submit and you'll get a link to view it on YouTube or get the direct download. So thank you again, everyone, for your time, and please make sure you join us for December's webinar next month.